It's Wednesday night, and we're live from Oakdale, Washington, in the Educated Touch studio. Welcome to Ethics Outside the Box, with your host, Nathan Nordstrom. Special guests include Bruce Boltz and you. Here he is, Nathan Nordstrom.
Well, hello everyone. Yes, that is our wonderful standard introduction that we get to play with here. And thank you for joining us today. I am here today with one of my good friends, Bruce Boltz, who we've got to play around quite a bit in many different ways and get to know each other over the many years of volunteering for professional associations and the National Certification Board. And just I was trying to remember, Bruce, when the first time that we met. Can you draw back to
It was at the AMTA National in Atlanta.
Oh, that's right.
Was that maybe 2005 or 6?
That's about right. It's got to be right in there. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, so it's been a years. A couple of handfuls there.
That stone class of 150 people that went so smoothly.
Good continuing education can always be a challenge, and making sure that you have the right people and the right number of people and all the rest is another part of that big, wonderful challenge. So Bruce, what are you doing in your life? How's practice? Are you doing any continuing education, any of that kind of fun stuff?
Yeah, I'm really focusing on a private practice, which I've really never done my whole massage career. I've always worked for other people, whether it's been in the spa world as managing programs or, when I worked for Bon Vital with their product manufacturer, and did all their education for about 3 years. And I really found that being back in the treatment room was a real treat, and trying to work with people and help them with their conditions. And so most of my work is active isolated stretching. And then as far as teaching goes, I do things where it doesn't take a lot of my personal time to promote it. So
Awesome.
Working with associations still a lot, as an educator for conferences. And then a lot of private golf clubs where things are easy. They have all their employees that they've predetermined who are going to take the class, and I go in and teach small groups, and it's not all the marketing hours.
So yeah, I find it really interesting when I start talking to massage therapists who have a great idea for a new CE class that they think no one has ever taught before. And then they say, hey, how do I go out and do this? And then I go, well, you got to stomp the pavement. You got to go out. You got to talk to the people. You got to kiss the babies. You got to wave and shake hands. And you have to be able to get into the right people at the right place and talk to the schools and they just kind of go, oh, can't I just go teach?
Yeah.
And they forget about that whole other aspect.
It's hard to teach when you don't have a reputation yet to teach, even though you want to do it.
Yep.
I started a loft in Brooklyn, New York. I lived in a 2,000 square foot loft, and that was my first teaching center because it was my place. And I didn't have to have somebody else's seal of approval to start teaching. And it's hard to get that seal of approval when you don't have the credential behind you yet of experience and positive feedback.
Well, I think that's something that our profession is actually looking at a lot right now, is appropriate credentials and appropriate organizational statements to say, hey, wait a second, here is a massage therapist. How do we know they're a good teacher? The Alliance for Massage Therapy Education is using this piece to really say, hey, how do we want to make sure that massage therapy educators are of a certain standard? And so it is currently in the works as one of those challenges to really engage us and draw us out into the profession. But thank you for spending this hour with me. We're going to be talking about the National Certification Board's Code of Ethics. As I usually tell people, it's not the most exciting thing at times, but really if you start thinking about it and start engaging, you'll find out that there's more to be said in this code of ethics than just what you should and should not do. It's more of that policy of how you organize yourself. So, in the key pieces that I want to always make sure that we're connected with, I want to go back to a couple of websites. First of all, YouTube. Here is the Educated Touch homepage for YouTube. Obviously, you're seeing 4, 5, 6, 7, and today is episode 8. By the end of the year, we should have 52 episodes, doing 1 hour a week, so that we can actually really cover the code of ethics and standard of practice of massage therapy. So if you haven't gone to YouTube, to our channel at Educated Touch, that's what you've got there, and you can go through and you can search specific topics, specific episodes, and each of these episodes tells you which code of ethic or standard of practice is discussed. So feel free to go back and visit there. Educated Touch's website is back up and running. We have our home, our instructors, our classes, about, contact. We're refilling all that up. We just had a major glitch on our on our computer or on our website, so it is now up and going. But this is the page that we are actually going to be talking about today, and that is the ncbtmb.org Code of Ethics page. Once again, go to ncbtmb.org, scroll down to the bottom of any page, and you'll see the About section. You can read all the rest of the sections, feel free. There's a lot of really good information, but as you go down, you'll see the Code of Ethics right there on the bottom. And that Code of Ethics, it will take you to this page. Standard of Practice would be right after that. And so on the Code of Ethics, we tonight are talking about number 8 here. Refuse to unjustly discriminate against clients and or health professionals. This is actually, in my mind, already broken down into 2 major parts. And we'll have to get to some of those other pieces. But the first one is obviously against our clients. And then the second one, which I see an awful lot of, is against health professionals. But let's talk about discrimination. Sorry, I tossed that out like it's just just an easygoing topic. The term discrimination has a huge black eye right now. In our general terminology, we start talking about discrimination against people because of color, because of their ethnicity, because of where they're from. Any challenges that you've seen in our profession against unjustly discrimination on any aspect, Bruce?
Yeah, I think a few that kind of come to mind. When I looked at this earlier today, when you said that to me, that this was going to be the point that we wanted to pull out on ethics, I was thinking, why that? But then after you said that to me, I look at it, it's a way of life. When I look at the way that you want to be treated and you want people to treat you, it's not just in the massage room. And I think that it gets lost when people try to put it only in the massage room. If I'm not going to discriminate against somebody in the massage room, I'm not going to discriminate them as part of my life.
Awesome.
And so for me, it's just, I don't want to say it's common sense, but it's common sense. Yeah,
no, it really is. And it's funny because last week, as we were talking on a similar aspect about honesty, and it was brought up the point that if you're honest at work, you're going to be an honest person at home. You are a person. You're not a honest person at work and a dishonest person at home. You have a code that really kind of meshes together. You are going to follow good policies, or you're not going to follow good policies, and it bleeds into the rest of your life. So when I was a kid, my dad used to talk about discrimination in a different way. He actually had a very positive aspect on discrimination. He says, discrimination is talking about how you are looking at the things that you are doing or not doing. you're going to determine, or you're going to discriminate against behaviors. You're going to say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't decide to go drive a car without a license. Maybe before I have my license, I shouldn't do that activity. You're discriminating against activities instead of people, but you're still discriminating. And so discrimination in life choices can really give you a good guideline to who you are. So I think the important statement before discriminate is unjustly. I know I have a hard time with a certain group of people. And it's sad because I know several wonderful individuals who have, several of my students who have graduated from massage school have had a harder time as a massage therapist because of unjustified discrimination. And that is anyone of Oriental descent. Because there's a perspective that people put on a person of Oriental ethnicity because of the way they look. And it's heartbreaking to see the effect that unjust discrimination can have on people. Now, is it based off of a inappropriate policy, inappropriate anything else? You know what? It may or may not be. But I think the key important piece is that as we look at a person, we should look at the person, not their color, not the not their skin color, not the accent that they have, not the origin of their birth, but their skill, especially as a massage therapist. This is going the opposite direction, but this is kind of wrapping around to a connection that I've had where I had in an office, we had a series of acupuncturists that were in offices around us. Had a client who came into me and said, hey, I'm thinking of going and trying acupuncture. And my answer was, great. I hope you have a great experience. And so the question to me was, do you know any Asian acupuncturists? And I said, well, why does that matter if they're skilled? And they said, well, I want to get it from a truly trained Oriental acupuncturist. And I had a hard time because the best acupuncturist that I knew in the area was this sweet old lady who lived down the street. And she was as Caucasian as the day is long. And she was outstanding with her tools of acupuncture needles. It's part of that discrimination that I always then have to look at and make sure that I'm talking to people and reminding them that it's not just discrimination if we say it's not discrimination, it's the actions that you take to make sure that you're talking to the right people and connecting with the right people. So let's go into this discrimination policy against clients. Have you ever seen or heard about any discrimination against clients, Bruce?
I guess people as you say, it's judgment, right? And what we're really talking about is just judging people and having an opinion. But where can you have an opinion, which everybody has, and then where does it become a judgment? You know, I mean, that's what makes us human.
Yeah.
Right? Our ego makes us human, and our ability to look at a situation and see if we're comfortable in that situation. So of course I've seen it. But I've seen more of it gender related than ethnicity related. And so, you know, being a male therapist, and I've spent probably 12 of my years of almost 24 years in practice, 12 of them in the spa related field.
Yep.
And I can tell you right now that the discrimination wasn't that I wasn't willing to work on a male or a female. It was that most often the client had a predetermined gender that they wanted to work with, which 85% of the time was probably female, if they didn't have an introduction or know that person.
Correct.
So, but I don't know if I've really seen it where I didn't want to work on somebody else. I think most people in that business, if you're in a private practice, you have to make a living.
Yep.
And so you might not maybe give your best treatment, but what would you say no?
Um, I, whenever I've been at a massage therapy school and teaching massage therapy students, I've actually told the students, hey, if you're a female, there's going to be a gender bias towards you. So more people are going to want to see you as a female, both male and female clients. Mm-hmm. If you're a male massage therapist, you're going to have to work on something very specific, and that's word of mouth. You're going to have to work to make sure that you get that first experience and give them the best experience, because they're going to be the ones who refer to you. And I go through this whole statement about how you need to make sure that you're appropriate, that your draping is on par, that you're making sure that your communication is safe, you're making sure that your ethics are unquestionable, making sure that people understand who you are and what your purpose is. And then as soon as I got done with that statement, I say, and females, you have to do the same thing. But it's less likely that as a female you're going to be you're going to have accusations put against you for misconduct. As a female, it's less likely that people are going to be creeped out by you. As a female, it's less likely that people are going to complain about you if you don't hold to the highest tier of safety. And so I put that out there for the male massage therapist to remind them that they need to be extra cautious. And then I go the other direction and say, but it's not just you. It's all of us.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. To me, there was another side of that. And I know this is actually going a little bit off topic.
Go for it.
But I found in the spa business, since women were generally booked because of their gender, that they didn't have the same opportunity that the male massage therapists do to build a loyal clientele. So I had the opportunity in those environments, when you stick it out long enough to make a living, that you get a lot more requests than the women do. The women got requests as gender. Males get requests as ability or chemistry. The relationship that you develop with that client, the rapport you develop with them.
Communication and soap notes and documentation and just building that person to person. Absolutely. Yeah. I would agree.
So I had a great practice, but it took me, almost like a private practice, it took me 3 or 4 years to build it up inside that one space, because I was really building my own business.
Yeah. And that's what I tell any massage therapist who's deciding to work at a franchise or a spa or in a facility that already is set up, that you're either an employee or anything else, that you're having to build your business in their business.
That's exactly right.
And if you leave, then you want to have people say, oh my gosh, that person left. Where do I need to go to see them? And not that you're hoping to drag clients away from this other employer, but you have to have that structure where people have a desire for your skill. And I tell people you need to know what you're good at and what you're not good at and be able to refer out. Because if you can refer out to people who are good at another aspect, that means other therapists will be able to refer to you for what you're good at, as long as you know what that is.
Yep.
So I also kind of look at discrimination on clients in that other side of this, where it's not that the client is trying to discriminate against the massage therapist, but there are circumstances where the male massage therapist may have an asexual, non-sexual name, Pat, or a client made an appointment and didn't hear what the therapist's name was or anything else. I had a client, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many years ago, probably over 10, maybe 15 years ago. And she came in for a massage, and When I came up and said, "Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm going to be your massage therapist today," you could see the fear in her eyes. You could see just kind of her wanting to just shrink away and not have anything to do with me. And my first question was, is there any problem right now that I could help you with? No. Okay. Would there be anything that I could do to make this more comfortable for you? Well, I don't know if I can get a massage. Is there any specific reason? I'm sorry, but you're a guy. And I'm like, I completely understand. Let's make this as good as we can for you. Let's see if you could go sit. We'll have you sit at the front desk. Let me see if there's anyone available, or see if we could reschedule you with a female massage therapist, because I'm thinking that's probably the bigger challenge is that I'm a male. I went to the front desk, let them know that she's uncomfortable working with a male therapist and that she needs to be booked with a female. And when I left, I was happy to have a receptionist there who could do the rest of the discussion, because really when it came down to it, it was not a fear that I was a creepy, weird guy. It wasn't any bizarre aspect other than her religious beliefs said that a man shouldn't be touching her in that way. And I was grateful that I could pick up on it and be consciously aware at that moment to discuss with her, hey, how can we make this the best thing for you? Because that's who it should always be about, is about the client and not about me making sure that I'm getting my appointments booked that need to be booked. Because you never know who that client will tell next. What therapists might say, oh, I got this scheduled from Nathan because of this. Oh, well, I should be able to refer, and we should be able to connect and communicate. It's important to make sure that when we look at other people, we don't jump to conclusions about discrimination, because they may be discriminating for a different reason than what we expect them to be discriminating for. So I think there's another side of discrimination on internal in our profession, people discriminating. It's funny, it's two different groups of people that I see discriminate against each other all the time. And that is the clinical massage therapists and the relaxation or energy workers. Bruce, I'm tossing this one out there.
Oh, no, this is good, though. This is really good, because I lived in both of these worlds.
And what have you seen?
I have my spiritual side of body work, which I do less of now just because of my attraction to active isolated stretching. That doesn't necessarily lend it in an outward, I would just say outward representation. It doesn't change how I feel inside, but it's what you show. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, I've been at a battle with many organizations over the years on the legitimacy of spa therapists opposed to clinical therapists. First of all, no matter what state you're in that's licensed, we all go through the same training.
Correct.
Base training's the same. So I then sort of put out there, there are people who understand aromatherapy that are massage therapists that will most likely work in more of a spa, or I don't want to say esoteric, it's not appropriate, but maybe more of an Eastern approach to body work. And then you're going to have the people that have gone in the direction where I am now, which is a little bit more Western in approach, and both equally as beneficial for the client. What I've always felt in our industry, and this discrimination is amongst ourselves, right? It's not our clients right now. The clients are going to go out and seek out what they resonate with. And so they're not looking at it any other way.
Nope.
So as long as you're proficient at what you do and you provide the best treatment for that client and have a deep understanding of it, the ability to help the body heal is equal on both sides, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Equal. But most of the people, unfortunately, there's not enough higher level education and more of the spa related energy work or whatever else we want to call it, because I believe in all sorts of stuff. I believe in, if somebody really believes in it, it's going to help them. Because I think our brain
Placebo
does.
effect.
Yes.
I love the placebo effect. I think it works.
Has the ability to flip a switch, to change stuff that we can't necessarily put science behind, right? Although
Absolutely.
what I do now is science-based. When I was doing more stone massage, the clinical aspects of what I do was science-based. But the connection that somebody can have with the stone, and if you believe in the energetic properties of the earth, it brings a dynamic into the treatment that can't be explained. But to me, they're both valid, because that person wanted to receive it.
So there are times that we are our worst enemy.
Yeah.
So let's see, 2001, brand new massage therapist working in a resort spa in Jackson, Wyoming, and loving it, having a great time. The only male massage therapist in the whole facility. And I had a different connection in the spa than the rest. I really got along with the other massage therapists and really kind of did background and support work and had my clientele that I was building. And we had one of the massage therapists come, and she was teaching hot stones to the rest of the spa on the class that she took. And as we started the class, she came in and she brought in her set of hot stones. And she put the set down and she says, okay, this is my set of hot stones. And she started talking about the emotional connection that she has with the stones and the interpersonal relationship that she has with the stones and healing. And at that point, my brain was not in an open, accepting mode. And so the first thing that came to mind was, okay, this lady's nuts. She's just crazy. She's talking about loving her stones and playing with her stones and making sure that if they need to retire, she throws them back and does a prayer and gets new stones. And in my mind, I was like, okay, you're just off your rocker. And for a long period of time, I held that as my truth until I started working with stones more than just as a massage tool, a thing to push on the body with. And I started recognizing that there's a connection not only between clients, but between the items that are used to support that client. And Beth was outstanding. She was a wonderful person. I worked very well with her, but I held on to that judgment in my mind, and it hurt me. Judgment rarely hurts the other person. Judgment usually hurts yourself. And so when I started looking at what type of judgments I place on other professionals who are doing the same thing that I do, you're right. We are all trained the same nationwide. We all have this standard licensing exam. We have this standardized process that we are connected with, and we are working on these same people. If they're coming into a spa or they're coming into a clinical setting, because they know that massage therapy works for them. And so being able to be open-minded about the hot stone therapist who has a good relationship with her stones as tools for her is something that we need to be more open with. I see the same discrimination against Reiki practitioners.
There you go.
I see the discrimination and vice versa. I guess I have to go to, I see the discrimination against deep tissue massage therapists saying, oh, they're all going, they hurt all the people that they touch because they're just jamming through and pushing on that, breaking down muscle. Same statements on both sides of the coin. So how do we tear that down? Any ideas, Bruce?
This is what I feel. Now, I work with some athletes as well as people that are in their 80s and 90s. So it's a wide spectrum of people that can take different types of approach as far as body work is concerned. I work with some guys that really appreciate that deeper work that I know I wouldn't want on myself.
Yep.
But it's functional and it works for them for whatever reason, even though it goes a little bit beyond my own current education to have to work that hard and to put them through that much discomfort. But in certain situations, that's what these guys want. And it does. It helps open them up so they can lift more weight and so they can have that little bit more extension. But meanwhile, I can work half that amount of pressure and achieve the same thing with somebody else. So, I mean, I think it really goes by the individual and their intention. I mean, you know, Nathan, when you work with an athlete, they'll go the extra mile. And they expect to be pushed that extra mile. And so then we have to try to accommodate that for that environment.
Well, what's that statement? Listen to your clients because they've been in their body for fill in the blank number of years.
Yeah. But there's also some people that aren't athletes that want me to work that hard on them, and I tend not to do it because I don't think they have the body knowledge. These guys know their body.
Yep.
A lot of body work done over the years, at least the guys that I work with.
And what is your specialty and your knowledge as a massage therapist, and how do you use the current research to say, maybe this isn't the best tool for you at this point? You're right about body awareness. Physical activity can change that a huge amount, right?
I listen to people, you know, and I don't know everything. You know, every time that we talk about something specific, I draw something from that conversation, whether it's you or one of the other educators or somebody that's been in the business for a while, because we all have a slightly different approach.
Yep.
You know, like when I started doing stone massage, my stone massage was really using hot and cold stones as a therapeutic extension of my hand. So the strokes that we did in deep tissue, I was doing with those stones.
Yep.
I didn't resonate with the other stuff that much, you know, as chakras and all that sort of thing. Not that I didn't understand it. I appreciated receiving it more than doing it in those situations with that type of treatment. So I didn't connect with it the same way. But, you know, as far as science and what it has to offer us, you know, for me right now, the science is coming more on the training aspects of making the body strong enough to support that new position that massage therapists can create for a client. So we have musculoskeletal problems that are out of balance. We can help bring that back into balance. But then the body's not strong enough to hold it in that balanced position. So now we have to retrain ourselves in a way so that those functional movements become more sound and biomechanically correct. And so, you know, that's where I am right now with science. There's more and more science geared toward what we do as a practice and how fascia actually works. And how, you know, can you melt muscle? Can you melt fascia? How many times did you hear that 15 years ago? You don't hear much of that anymore, you know. But it is about bringing the body back into balance, and there's 5,000 ways to do that. You know, I do.
I think part of the discrimination factor, especially when we're talking about massage therapist to massage therapist, or energy worker to massage therapist, or stretching therapist to massage therapist, clinical massage therapist, medical massage therapist, all these terms that are out there. I think there's one big tool that I see not used nearly enough. And that is specifically for our clients, for the people that we work on, when they come in and they say something to the effect of, oh, well, I went to this person and all they did was put their hands over me and do some woo-woo dance. Drawing back and saying, I understand that you didn't connect with that, but there are definitely clients that person has. There are people that does help. And so reminding the clients that there's benefit to every aspect of massage therapy if I, as a massage therapist, understand it or not. Instead of going the other direction, which I've seen people do, and go to the, oh yeah, that kind of crazy stuff I don't get at all. Or, oh yeah, no, I had a massage therapist who went in and really beat me up with their elbows. Yeah, no, I'm not that therapist. Instead of casting dispersions, really drawing back to the possibility and the connection and the positive aspects, and not putting a negative connection to those other therapists. A couple of years ago, I started doing gua sha, the scraping technique. I guess it's more than a couple of years ago now. I started teaching it a couple of years ago, so it's been several years. And to me, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine techniques, have always been way over my head because I didn't get the energetic flow. I didn't understand qi and meridians. And even though I had it in massage school, it didn't connect with me until I started using tools. And when I started using stones and things to scrape and to move, I went, wait a second, I get this now. And if we don't open ourselves up and be open-minded to new changes, new possibilities, new options, what ends up happening is we start discriminating, and then we have to backpedal later and say, okay, well, I've learned something new. Instead of striving to be humble constantly, then you have to start backpedaling for the things that the negative statements you may have said in the past. And so being accepting and connecting and reducing discrimination in our profession is a tool that we should have to really support us and support the entire profession so that we can all come together.
You're right. And it's sometimes where we're standing me though, and I'll tell you, like, I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to people that are in the spa world that say, I'm a spa therapist, but, meaning like justifying or saying that this is where I'm starting. I mean, I don't have to tell you now, you're with your new job, you're going to have all sorts of abilities from right out of school to have been with you for probably 10 years.
Yep.
There are places for people to go in organizations and in systems that, starting out in a spa, look, I started off as a therapist doing, I would say, more traditional massage therapy with the use of stones in spas in New York City. And that had its own sort of connotation and understanding. And then as you develop, and then I started to teach, and then I started to run massage programs, there's a transition that people can go through if they want to work hard and put themselves into at that type of exposure in the industry. And I did. And so there are places to go. And for me, it was like, wow, I started here, and then I went there, and then I went there, and I was at the biggest day spa in New York City at the time, and running their massage program for their therapists. And who was I? I came out of school maybe 4 or 5 years before that as a personal trainer previously. And so, you never know where things are going to take you. But I can tell you, judging any modality is not our job.
No.
It should nowhere near become anything. Why do you do it? To make yourself feel good? Because the point is that person's doing something that there is a client out there for them, that they enjoy that type of practice. And now you're trying to say that they shouldn't be providing that for that client who wants to receive it.
I love the statement that you put there, just kind of right in the middle of, no matter where they are, if you work hard, and that's the key piece, is hard work. No matter what discipline you decide to take, it takes hard work. And I have to say also, it takes a period of time of not making much money. I know surgeons who come out and they're like, oh, I'm totally now, I've graduated, I'm ready, I've gone through my externship, and now I have to build a practice.
And I'm $250,000 in debt.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, how do I do that? Doctors, that's the same process of any type. And massage therapists, they think, okay, we're going to get out and we're going to make all this money. And then you just go, wait a second. You now have to start your practice. You now have to start working with clients and start building clients and start developing practice. I feel very blessed as a massage therapist to have started my practice so many times. And it sounds a little bit flippant and negative, but I really have had an opportunity to open a practice. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in my career.
That's how many times you've moved in the past 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. But and not all of those are moves. Sometimes they're just starting up in a different portion of my area. But it is such a blessing to humble yourself and go, wait a second, what is the first step in building any practice? And it's seeing that first client, engaging that first client, listening to that first client, giving that client what they need to improve themselves so that they can feel better and do better. Once you have done that, you're ready for the next client. And if you're okay with that first couple of weeks and saying, okay, yes, I'm going to put in long hours, and yes, I'm not going to make a lot of money, but as soon as I build my clientele and get those repeat clientele and referrals, then you'll start seeing more success in our profession.
I think, Nathan, with what we've been talking about so far, and you wanting this to be about ethics,
mm-hmm.
It's not, and it just goes to show you it's a way of life. It's, and because I say, and when I go back to that first thing, when I was thinking about what we're going to be talking about tonight, and to me, it's no different if I'm walking through town or if I'm in a massage room. There's protocols that have to be followed. There's respect for the client that has to be, administered to and taken into consideration. But when I'm out on the street, there's respect for the people that are out on the street that needs to be taken into consideration. And there's still proper communication as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
I can get away with more out on the street than I can in the massage room, depending upon what the situation is. But you
don't hold a license to walk down the street. So
that's correct.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, I mean, because I felt that we've gone off track a little bit on just the ethical part. But you know what? It's coming full circle.
Yeah.
It's really about ethics, and it's not ethical to judge somebody for what they want to receive or how they want to practice massage.
Well, and all that last piece,
as long as it's within our standards.
Absolutely. That last piece that I was going through is, so yeah, I've been a massage therapist for 15 plus years. And when I look at that and I say, okay, yes, I've started my practice so many times, I've been a new massage therapist each one of those times. And if we're looking at who do we refer to in our practice or around us for other massage therapists, if you see a brand new massage therapist who's out of school, that doesn't mean that they don't have the skill, the knowledge, or the experience. And so discriminating against a massage therapist because they've been around forever and they don't know the new research, or discriminating against a massage therapist because they're brand new in practice, is another form of discrimination that we see internally in our practice. And we'll see clients who will say, well, how long have you been in practice? Or how long have you been a massage therapist? And people ask that, one, because they kind of want to know or open the door for communication. But another one can be, oh, well, okay, yeah, they're not that good, so that's because they're new. And so internally, as we start looking at referring and kind of connecting with other massage therapists, either in our association world, if we're looking at peer mentoring, I learned so much more from students that I've had in massage school, from stories that they give me or experiences that they've had, than I ever feel that I can give them back, because we're coming as peers instead of teacher-student. We create this peer mentorship where we both get an opportunity to understand more about what's going on in situations and how we can both improve. I think everyone should have a peer mentorship model. Now, I think we need to go along to the other side of this this policy, which is, we've kind of gone through some of this, but unjustly discriminating against other health professionals. professions and professionals. I have had many clients who have come in who have spent a lot of money and a lot of time working with other medical professionals, physical therapists, occupational therapists, their chiropractor, their medical doctor. And when they come in and they say, you know what, you're the last straw, I just don't know what to do, so let's try massage. And I get to go in and I get to work on their muscles and relax their body and be connected to them for an hour, physically, mentally, emotionally, however that is. They're there and they're able to engage as a person. And they get off the table and go, oh, wow, all I needed was a massage. And that helped me with my migraine, or that helped me with my tension, headaches, or my shoulders, or that foot pain that I've had, or that knee pain. It is notorious that a lot of times that patient, that client, will say, my doctor couldn't fix this, but a massage therapist did. And so they start pushing towards you're great, you're the whole thing that should have been in the whole medical system. I can't disagree. I think the medical system should connect with massage therapy in a more open and accepting and engaging way. Done. Statement easy. But it takes a village to keep us all healthy and strong. And if you have a massage therapist who then talks negatively about the healthcare providers or the healthcare system as a whole, it can build a wedge against those, against that relationship being able to be built. I don't think massage therapists have the right to say, yeah, your doctor's stupid, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's my own personal thing. But I think that goes right into looking at health professionals and making sure that we're not putting discriminatory statements upon other health professionals as well. So how do we build this relationship between us and other health professionals? Any ideas there, Bruce?
Let's see if I can pick one.
Let's start with whatever comes out.
I think this goes back to when you had that first experience with somebody who took stone massage. Mm-hmm. Most of us criticize other approaches to, say, healthcare because of lack of knowledge. And so,
absolutely.
And then we kind of laugh at it. I've been on that side that you called woo-woo, right? I've been on that side, and that's a very important side to me. Because look, this is what I believe. You cannot heal the physical body without connecting to the spiritual side of somebody. If you want true healing, I think both have to be brought into balance. Now, with that being said, I think that, all right, an example, craniosacral therapy. I went through, with Upledger Institute, 2 levels of craniosacral.
Awesome.
I went through that primarily to get more educated on what it was about, not necessarily to be a craniosacral practitioner. Mm-hmm. Because I was already busy doing what I was doing. But there's a very, I know it's very clinical because of the roots where it came from. But then there's also a very sort of soft touch, energetic feel to the process. So I really got that. And I thought, man, if my hands can't do this forever, my body starts hurting because of all the physical body work that we've done, craniosacral is it. You know, because I saw the changes, I see the people relating to it. And so now I went to be able to speak more positively about a modality that I thought was very important, but not knowing why.
Yep. You
know, and when somebody first told me, yeah, I can do this hold, the still point hold here, and I can get inside your brain and move stuff around, and so the craniosacral fluid can start flowing, I said, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay.
But what's 5 grams of pressure going to do? But you know what? It's amazing because we tap into a different part of the central nervous system with light touch. And they're working with NFL concussion players. These guys are used to being beaten up with body work or just physically beaten up on the field. Can you imagine when you have them come, these big 275-pound guys laying on a table?
Half the weight of a dime.
Cradling their head at their occipital ridge and them having relief from brain discomfort because of so many concussions and memory loss and all this stuff. So, think twice before about judging any other medical practice because we don't have the right to do it, or any other modality. Clients can maybe judge it because maybe they don't get the effect that they want from it. They can judge it and then move on. They can say it didn't do anything for me. The way I feel about modalities and judging things, look, there's many types of stretching. And as you know, and maybe some of the other people that are listening, I'm very involved with active isolated stretching. And so, but there's other stretching modalities that are out there. My opinion is, if it's with, as far as functional movement is concerned, if it's based in science and you can stand behind what you're practicing and your client wants to receive it, you have no need to change it if they're getting the results that they want. But I'm not doing it because Nathan said it was good. I'm doing it because Nathan gave me the information that was already based in science that said it was good, or whomever that person is.
And Nathan said it was good too, so.
Yeah, well, all right, we got to give you a few points. Right? Let's go.
So, and I think you actually point something out that really kind of boggles my mind, because I think there's some of this that we have to take credit for on why, if we look at the old school medical provider who says, oh, you want to get a massage? Well, I don't know, it's not going to help, but go ahead. Because there's a lot of medical providers who don't look at massage as clinically beneficial. And I think part of that comes from this concept of training. When I look at the way I teach, it has transitioned over the years. And I'm so grateful for that, because anyone who took one of my first couple of classes, I'm sorry. That's not, yeah, I was going to say, I think we're all there. But this other aspect where, as massage therapists, we should be comfortable being able to train our profession to know what massage therapists are, what we do, and using that science and the research to wrap all the way back around, so that when a doctor says, why would I tell one of my patients to go get a massage? We can say, well, here's some cases. I had a wonderfully horrifying experience one day. I got introduced to one of the medical doctors who ran a urgent care clinic. And so, of course, me being big-mouthed and outspoken, the first thing that I had to say was, how come we don't get massage therapy referrals from your urgent care clinic? Because I'm assuming you have people who went out and mowed their 2-acre yard, and the next day they were in serious pain and came in for painkillers and muscle relaxers. There's a lot better side effects with massage therapy than there are with any of those. And the doctor said, well, that's a great idea. How about you come talk to all of our doctors? And I kind of got a little baffled and went out and talked to them and presented research, really in the synopsis of the articles, so that they had something brief that they could deal with, but also offering massage therapy to them so that they could have an experience with it and kind of go, oh, that's why I should help. That's why I should refer to massage therapy. That's why I should refer to this massage therapist, or why I should connect with this type of massage therapist. I know that there are several doctors out there who want to refer to a qualified massage therapist if a massage therapist would come in and say, hi, I am a massage therapist in this area. Here are my credentials. I'm excited to be working with your patients. If you have any questions, feel free to come talk to me. Doctors are more willing to do that than refer to an open source or just an ambiguous category of profession. No one wants to say, oh yeah, go find somebody, I don't care who. Mm-hmm. Professionals want to connect with, hey, this is a person that I have their documents on, or this is a person that I know is safe and professional. So that would be, in my mind, one of the very first things to do is to educate the medical profession about massage therapy, and I've been working so hard to do that in my whole profession. And that's when I talk about opening so many practices again and again and again. One of those easiest ways is to go to the local chiropractor and say, hey, I see that you have massage therapists here. I don't know how busy they are, but this is where my office is. If you ever need backup or need to refer out, this is what I do. This is who I am. I'd love to work on you or work with you. That face-to-face, nose-to-nose contact really gives people an opportunity to reduce their reasons to discriminate against you. It also reduces your ability and reasoning to discriminate against others. We want to have those connections. We want to have those experiences. We want to keep people connected. And sometimes you're going to have a client who's going to come in and they're going to have symptoms that you go, I think you need to go see your doctor. And if they don't have a doctor, how do you refer them to the right source if you haven't connected with someone in the medical profession already? I've had several clients that I've said, I can't work on you today. Not because my schedule's too busy, but because I'm concerned about your health. And yes, I may be discriminating there, but when I'm looking at the assessment tools, orthopedic assessment, basic concepts, and they're sweating, they're having heart palpitations, they're breathing heavy because they just were walked across the room. They have this rash that's in a circular function on their arm that's been itching and spreading up and around. These are all reasons that you need to be very cautious. And these are things that you need to make sure that you're conscious about with your client so that you can refer them to their doctor so that A, maybe you don't get whatever they have, B, you don't cause increase in symptoms, but C, so you can build that relationship with their doctor so they can say, hey, you know what? Yeah, your massage therapist was right. You probably should have come in for a physical or come in and get that checked. The number of massage therapists that I know of and I've talked to who have sent their patients in for a mole on their back that's been growing is impressive. Because how many times do you look at your own back, Bruce?
I try to look at my own back.
Good luck, all right? Yeah, we don't. And so having a massage therapist who can do some assessment on your body and just kind of document, hey, he's got a mole on the bottom left-hand quadrant of his back. That's the size of a pencil eraser. And a month later, when you come in for that next massage, or 2 months later, or 3 months later, whenever you come back for that massage, and they go, oh, okay, yeah, oh, wait, it was the size of a pencil eraser before. Huh, that's not the same size. Hey, you got this thing, it's growing. Go, quick, see your doctor. It's worth it to have an extra set of eyes. Keep you safe. Massage therapists have built great relationships with dermatologists who then connect with them and say, hey, you know what, you're a good massage therapist because you're checking out the condition of your client. You're there for your client as a massage therapist. You're there to make sure that you do not discriminate against other professionals and discriminate against your clients intentionally or unintentionally, and make sure that you don't put out discriminatory statements that cause problems for your clients later so that they don't have discriminatory habits. you know what, I've got children, and I strive to teach my children to be positive and be kind and supportive of people around them. And when you see your child or your niece or nephew or anybody else, and you see them make statements that are negative towards other people, it hurts. I know it's hurt me a couple of times, and I've had to pull my child in and say, hey, wait a second, that's not appropriate. Why do you think that? What are these things that drew you to that? You know, we can't do that with our clients, but we can give them an opportunity to open up to other massage therapists, open up to other possibilities, and make sure that they are connecting with people and not just history. Because we can learn from history, but if we shut down possibilities from there, we lose out on a lot of possibility for the future. So, all right. So once again, this has been NCB's Code of Ethics, Code of Ethics number 8, refuse to unjustly discriminate against clients and or health professionals. My guest has been Bruce Baltz. Bruce, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
It's been great. I appreciate you having me over, having me in the world.
Having you join, yes.
Nice to meet you, Bruce Baltz. Thank you, Nathan. The hour has flown by. We hope you've enjoyed this discussion with Ethics Outside the Box. As you've seen, Nathan uses many second-hand stories of ethical situations. If you'd like to share your story or you have any questions, feel free to contact him and Nathan at educatedtouch.com. If you'd like to register for next week's live webinar, go to shop.educatedtouch.com. Under live webinars, you will see all upcoming webinars. If you have just watched this video and would like continuing education for home study, you can go to shop.educatedtouch.com under the home study options with the date or episode number to receive your exam. If you would please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, we will keep you up to date on new videos. If you'd like to attend one of our live courses, you can find upcoming scheduled events at www.educatedtouch.com. Thank you for joining us today. Be well and have an ethical day.